Hello there, Brick Fanatics. July is fast approaching us, and with it comes a few new LEGO sets that are going to be released. Not necessarily the biggest month of all time for new LEGO releases, but enough that it is definitely worth talking about it and figuring out what you may or may not want to pick up on the 1st of July. There are in total 5 new LEGO sets releasing, not including polybags, not including Duplo, not including gift with purchases, etc, etc. It doesn't feel like it's necessary to split them out into different categories because there are so few, so we'll just run through the entire list very quickly and then I'll take a moment to talk about each one of these. As we go through this list, do make sure that if you plan on purchasing any of these that you use the affiliate link which is down in the description or that QR code that is currently on the screen. They take you straight to the LEGO website and we get a percentage of the sale when you purchase through those links. The following LEGO sets will release on the 1st of July 2025. 10357 Shelby Cobra 427SC. 10375 How to Train Your Dragon Toothless. 43008 Nike Dunk. 76329 Miles Morales Mask. And 75428 Battle Droid with STAP. Which of these is my top pick? Which of these would be the one that I'm the most interested in? Which would be my #1 grab? I've said good and bad things about all of these, so it's kind of difficult to make a choice. Surprisingly, it might be that Battle Droid. I did have negative things to say about the fact that it's just got the standard old minifigure Battle Droid in there. But the build itself, I do think is quite cute. I feel like, as I had mentioned in the video when it was first revealed, that it is a little bit smaller than I would have liked. With the STAP taking up so much of the brick count here, I would have perhaps liked it all to have focused on the Battle Droid, but I do have to admit that that little flying thingy is pretty cool as well. Maybe it's just that summer always brings Phantom Menace nostalgia. Maybe it's the fact that it's been 26 years-ish now since we last got a version of the Battle Droid in this kind of scale, although admittedly that was Technic rather than System here. But I think it's kind of neat. I do like this. It feels particularly odd to make this my favourite pick because I'm not the biggest fan of where LEGO Star Wars is going at the moment, with it focusing so much more on display pieces and really kind of neglecting the play side of the theme, which historically has been what LEGO Star Wars has been mostly about. I have quite a fondness for the more play-oriented minifigure scale sets, and I'm not quite as keen on display pieces for this particular theme, but when a display piece comes out that I do quite like the look of, it's hard to argue with that. Now, if you're watching this video and you're thinking to yourself, I would like a really easy way of helping out this channel that doesn't cost me a penny, well, that subscribe button is right there, as is the like button. If you press those two for me, unless you're already subscribed or you've already pressed the like button, then you will be helping out the channel. Another one that I'd quite like to get hold of, which ranks a little bit higher than I expected it would, is that AC or Shelby Cobra. For the sake of ease, I'm just going to call it the Cobra from this point on. I think if you look at my LEGO collection behind me, you'll be able to tell that the LEGO brick-built cars that we get are not necessarily the things that I gravitate towards more so than anything else. Like, I like one, but it's just not the thing that appeals to me in quite the same way that LEGO Pirates does. That said, while you can quibble how accurate this Cobra is, I do like the design. I feel like it's a little bit more curvy, a little bit more sleek, and a little bit more fun than some of the brick-built cars that we've had at this scale in the past. One thing I haven't mentioned about this set that I probably should have mentioned sooner is it does bear just a vague resemblance, maybe only a vague resemblance, to the Mercedes-Benz Hot Wheel set that is coming out of the Mattel Brick Shop. This is Mattel's new attempt at an answer to LEGO for adults using their Mega blocks. And how much this resembles traditional Hot Wheels in brick-built form is difficult to say, but certainly this car is another one which is of a similar kind of size and a similar kind of colour scheme, and is also adapting a famous older classic car. At the moment, that feels like the main point of competition between the Brick Shop and the traditional LEGO offerings, and it'll be interesting to see what LEGO does as a response, if anything, to Mattel attempting to move in on that territory and get a little bit of the market share for older fans of brick-built things who are looking to build classic cars. We'll have to wait and see on that, but I don't feel like this is the end of that particular discussion. Right, what's next? How to Train Your Dragon Toothless. I feel like this one could have been one of my top picks for the year had it been designed a bit differently, and I am very, very interested to see what happens when this thing gets into the hands of LEGO fans and people who make mocks, and once it starts hitting Rebrickable in particular. I want to see what LEGO fans do with this and how they might make it something that looks a little bit more like Toothless actually looks in any of the How to Train Your Dragon films. Like, don't get me wrong, the cute design is fun and all, it's just because of that it's not my top pick. like. Otherwise, like, it's a nice enough build, and yeah, there are some cool pieces in here that I would like to see used in different ways. This is the wonderful thing about Lego, though, is that somebody else can just take this and just turn it into something else. And when that happens, I'm going to be very interested to see what they come up with. The Nike Dunk. I've tried very hard this month, very, very hard, not to buy myself a pair of Nike Dunks or Airs or something of that variety, something that's kind of one of those classic Nike shoes, simply because of how well this is working as a cross-promotional tool for just sapping my wallet. I seriously have never even considered buying Nike shoes before. This is not something that has ever crossed my radar, but suddenly, now that it's in Lego form, and it looks quite cool in those pictures, I'm like... The thing that has stopped me is that Nike shoes are very expensive, and I do look at the prices and I think, I could buy a lot of Lego for that. As a reminder, I mentioned this in the retiring sets video for the month as well, but I just wanted to mention this again because we did have someone comment asking, is this going to be a limited release? Is it going to be the kind of Nike product that, much like a lot of the Nike different colorways, is going to be very difficult to get your hands on? No, this is going out to a very wide audience. You don't have to pre-order it. You don't have to buy it on day one. It's going to be in store shelves for years to come. It is not going to immediately disappear, so you are not going to miss out on this thing. I think if FOMO is the major concern for you here in terms of purchasing this particular Lego set, don't worry, you will not miss out. Finally, Miles Morales mask. This one is definitely the one I'm the least fussed about. I'm very sorry, Miles. I love Spider-Verse. I love Miles Morales. But I've seen so many of these helmets and masks in the past that I'm not particularly fussed about this. It is what it is. For the kinds of people who like collecting these, it's going to be great because here's another one. But for the same reason that I'm not particularly fussed about the Star Wars display sets, for example, helmets in particular, I'm not particularly fussed about just having Miles Morales' disembodied head on my desk. It also really doesn't help this Lego set's chances that this is far from the most interesting Lego Spider-Man thing that we have seen thus far this year. That said, if it is the Lego set for you, don't let me talk you out of it. Go ahead and use your money however you see fit. Now, as I'm always keen to point out, this is every Lego set that has currently been officially confirmed for release in July. It doesn't mean that the Lego group isn't going to throw a surprise at us, and they do tend to do that more often than not. It's just that at the moment, these are what we have. This is everything that we are aware of. Do let us know down in the comments which of these Lego sets you're going to be picking up yourself, which ones are a day one purchase, which ones are a wait and see purchase, which ones are a bargain bin purchase, which ones are you just going to let slide on by. Let us know down in the comments and do all of the rest of the YouTube things. Give this video a thumbs up and hit subscribe and the notification bell. If you are going to be purchasing any of these sets from the Lego website, make sure that you do use the affiliate link which is down in the description and that QR code that is on screen. They take you straight to the Lego website. We get a percentage of the sale. Helps to keep the lights on at Brick Fanatics. Speaking of which, you can go to brickfanatics.com for coverage of all things Lego, and you can sign up to our newsletter so that you never miss anything Lego related ever again. Thank you very much for watching. Have a wonderful day.